Some scattered through the Pacific and can be seen, our relatives can be seen in the Pacific to this day. Some joined the black population and took over an entire continent called Australia. The British found the whole black continent when they got there and killed almost all of them. They found a neighboring island called Tasmania, and they killed every single person on Tasmania. There's a book on it called Last of the Tasmanians. Every single person on the island was killed. Man, woman, and child. When somebody talk about their Holocaust, remember, at least they're here to talk about it. All the Tasmanians are gone. Total Holocaust.
I want to talk about Australia's intent to destroy, and the evidence of that starts with the idea of terra nullius. Terra nullius is a legal fiction on which this country is founded. Its constitutions, its institutions, everything about it is founded on the basis that average people didn't exist, or didn't have rights as human beings. As far as I'm concerned, Australia is a crime scene. And that crime is a premeditated criminal act of genocide. And that makes the people of Australia living off the proceeds of that crime. And I think that people should do something about it. And the way forward in this country is to obviously do that treaty business. A treaty is a healing document, creates a proper legal foundation of law. Terra nullius and native title, or as I call it, naive title, are inappropriate. They were made by the courts in this country and were applied retrospectively to Aboriginal people going back 200 years. There's a whole litany of intent to destroy issues through Australia's history. Sovereignty. Our sovereign countries are situate in geographic Australia. Our sovereign laws govern our lands and people. No consent. The United Kingdom of Great Britain ordered James Cook of the Royal Navy, with the consent of the navies, to take possession of convenient situations in our countries in the name of the King of England. In particular is that of the Admiralty Orders issued 30th July 1768. No such consent was ever given or sought. Genocide and crimes against humanity are still today being committed against us. There is no peace treaty. The United Kingdom of Great Britain ordered the Commander-in-Chief, Arthur Phillip, to apply the rules and disciplines of war to our lands and waters, particularly as King George III Commission, 12th of October 1786. No détente or other end of hostilities have ever been proclaimed, and no peace treaty have ever been made or sought. This war, declared or undeclared, continues to this day with genocide, war crimes and crimes against humanity committed against us. No prevention of genocide. And the whole idea of the Genocide Convention was about the word prevention and punishment of genocide. Now, people can't tell me that genocide was prevented in this country since 1949, when Australia was ordered to legislate against genocide. Prevented hasn't been prevented. Stolen generations is an issue of genocide. Stolen generations. Creating the conditions of life with the intent to destroy, like reservation, welfare control of Aboriginal people, preventing births in the group, and causing serious mental harm in the group. Now, this is where the argument is for me in this country. How could you be a civilised society if you can't prevent the act of genocide in your country? Australia's got no jurisdiction. You don't get jurisdiction by murdering and thieving. It's the proceeds of crime we're talking about here. And these issues need to be dealt in a legal situation, a court of law. You won't find a court of law in Australia. It's built on terra nullius, lies, deceit and indoctrination. That's what we've come from. That's why Australia is so backward in terms of its relationship with Indigenous people. Truth's a hard thing to swallow. That's what we need to do. The truth is also a weapon, and in this country, the land of lies, the truth is a weapon of mass destruction, and so is education. And it disturbs me what's happening in education in this country. The fact that Aboriginal people are the most researched, documented, measured people on the face of the earth. Nobody in this country knows very much about us. What's going on? Is it the vested interests Is it the denialism? Is there a mental blockage here? Now, this denialism is the problem that Aboriginal people have. We think that there's a psychological problem at a national level. People can't deal with reality. But we don't need this deluded superiority complex that we have to put up with daily. We know how to look after our own selves. We were self-determinated. We had organised, stable, socially organised societies right through this continent, of which there was many black nations, all with their own sovereignty. And our process of law are through our elders who sit in council, who are bloodline back to that territory. There's no other way. That's the way it was in the beginning, and that's the way it will be in the end for us too. White fellas' law is inferior to our law. It's a backward dark age law. It's built around greed, selfishness. Our law is about sharing, caring and looking after this land. We had a custodian and caretaker role. We are the legal authorities in this land. We are the legal authorities in this land. It's about time people took heed of that and respected it. Stop paying your taxes to these terrorists. You call it a government. You're funding terrorist organisations as far as I'm concerned. And if you analyse it legally, you'll agree. There's no prevention of genocide. The United Kingdom of Great Britain ordered Commander-in-Chief Arthur Phillip to cause those who wantonly destroy the natives to be brought to punishment according to the degree of the offence. Well, how would that apply to Mr Hurley, who murdered our brother there in Palm Island? And this has been going on since day one, the murder of Aboriginal people. It wasn't really a case of murder, they reckon. It was an unlawful killing. That's how they described the killing of Aboriginal people through the past. This has been going on. You know, Aboriginal people are a very small population here, a small minority. And to lose any one of our people hurts us immensely. And it's continued to happen over the last 240 years. No one in this country has ever been punished or prosecuted for the crime of genocide against us. The Commonwealth of Australia is demonstrably unwilling and unable to stop and prevent this genocide, and accordingly, the International Criminal Court has jurisdiction to investigate and prosecute top government officials as key perpetrators in offences of genocide, war crimes and crimes against humanity. The International Court of Justice has jurisdiction to determine whether the Commonwealth of Australia is in breach of international law by failing to enact domestic legislation adequately and generally preventing and punishing genocide. I've never accepted, I'm not an Australian citizen. You know, I don't like the idea of calling myself Australian anyway. You know, I've got an identity and a culture, language and all those things. And you know, the idea of assimilating is probably, to me, is like the worst form of genocide that there is. It's been made to be something that you despise the most. And that's probably the situation Aboriginal people are in. You know, we're not that impressed with white fellas and their technological and their civilisation and their Christianity. In fact, we ain't seen none of that stuff. Where is the Christianity? Where is the civilisation? You know, it's more like the barbarians, thieves, murderers. We tried to, for ourselves, work out what were the key areas of Aboriginal people's concerns. And for us, it was called the Black GST. G meaning genocide, the issues surrounding that, sovereignty, and the lack of a treaty in this country. They're fundamental customary law norms of international law. They're foundation laws. Australia's in violation of all these laws. And that's why we set up a thing called the Black GST. Australia lives off the proceeds of crime. Now, how does that make people feel? Do people really want to do something about this situation? Do you want your children to grow up knowing that they're responsible, they're liable for this because their ancestors and their elders wouldn't do nothing about it? You know, this genocide issue's been put in a too hard basket for too long. We need to deal with it. We need to deal with it now. You know, people need to have a look at what happened in the Nuremberg trials and what happened in the state of Germany at the time. And ask themselves, well, not to wonder why that evil will reign when good people do nothing. And people need to educate themselves about these issues and do something about them. Because Aboriginal people are a very important part of the ecology, the environment, the spirituality of this place. Without us being in touch with this country, and being its caretaker, and being its custodian, I think it's only peril ahead. It's been that way for Aboriginal people. We suffered from colonialism, capitalism. They've robbed us of everything that we had. Taken everything. Children, wages, lives, land, all stolen. So we call it the stolen wealth of Australia. What we're saying should happen should be a treaty. Internationally scrutinised treaty process. Before that, we need to have an end of hostilities and a recognition of this declared, undeclared war, this secret invasion. And that would do a hell of a lot for Aboriginal people's psychology in this country. We don't need much more than that. We only need the jackboots to come off our necks to be able to survive in this country. We need to have a treaty, internationally scrutinised. A treaty unites people, it heals the past, creates a legal foundation for the future. It ends the war. It ends the war. It ends the war. Creates a proper foundation for this country to grow up. Treaties is the way forward. It civilises. It justifies the occupation. It settles the score. It gets rid of naive toil and that waste of money. That perversion of the course of justice for Aboriginal people. For the first time in history, the courts are making laws and retrospectively placing them to underpin their own and justify their own occupation. White man needs native title more than black folk. We don't need native title. This is our land. It should be up to the non-Aboriginal people to prove their title here and prove their connection to this country, not the other way around. This is a perversion of the course of justice. We need a proper legal process. We need a United Nations peacekeeping force here. If you have a look at the stats on Aboriginal people, you'd think there was a war going on here. So we do need these people. We need someone else other than this local jurisdiction and hope that we're going to get justice out of it. We're not. We need to take this to the international community and put it on the record over there. Whether we win, whether we draw, we need to put Australia's racist, genocidal history on the record. This treaty is 240 years late on the record. And it's payback time. Pay black time, back pay time. 240 years back rent, compounded interest. Damages, War Crimes Commission, compounded interest. On all those things. Treaty is in the interest of all the people in this country. For our children, we want to end this war. We want peace. I think the time's come for a treaty. There's been a lot written about treaties. We need to go back to Cook's instruction and get consent and negotiate. That's where we are in law in this country. Terra is a lie. That hasn't been resolved properly yet. This whole issue is no good native title. We need to get rid of it. need to move forward, and the only way we can do that, I believe, is through